Dog Show. This is David, and I'm with our new guest, Will. How's everybody doing today, man?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good, man. Just excited to be here. Talk about the Hogs a little bit, kind of give a little insight of some information that I know personally, and kind of give my opinion on some things.
Go ahead. Let the people know a little bit about you, man.
Ah, well, I'm originally from Nashville, Arkansas. I graduated from Murfreesboro, actually, but Nashville's one of the big time schools, in the state of Arkansas. Produces some of the best talent. Petway's up there right now, and then we
Yep.
got Kirby Adcock. So, I got a pretty good relationship with those guys. And then, I don't know if you remember Chris Jones was a fullback up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really good friends with him. We'll try to get him on the show sometime. But,
Yeah.
anyways, I was gonna talk about the TBT tournament that we just had Team Arkansas in, and
Yes.
the guy that I run Hog Nation with, he actually constructed that whole team, and he was gonna be on the show this morning, but we didn't have enough time to get him on,
That's fine, man.
so maybe we can get him on some other time, and he can kind of give us a foresight of the future of the TBT and what we can expect, later on down the road from it.
Right. I think that's going to end up being a really good thing, especially in the off season when there's not really anything going on, no football yet, no basketball, no baseball. That's going to be if that actually, makes something out of itself with that team and that tournament. That could be a really good thing for at least for Arkansas fans who really are starved for sports during the meantime during the downtime and the off season.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Arkansas, I think they led out of all the teams that was there, they led as far as the fan base goes. So I mean, yeah, Arkansas fans, they show out numbers for anything that deals with Arkansas,
Absolutely.
and that's the closest thing to a pro team that we have. So, if we can build some kind of success through that, and it was fun seeing Ronnie Brewer out there, Michael Qualls, who I haven't seen in, a long time, and
Funny thing about Michael Qualls, I can, even as an NBA guy, I can still root for him because he plays for my Mavericks. He's actually in our G League now for the Texas Legends.
Hmm.
So I saw that happen last year, and I was like, well, I can still root for him even now.
Right. Yeah, and it was awesome seeing him doing that windmill dunk yesterday to end the game, which,
Right.
It was unfortunate that the tournament had to end yesterday, but I mean to have 7 guys, and the other team be fully, benched, it's kind of hard
Right.
to match up against that. But I think if they get a full staff together, they'll be a team to watch out for.
Who is the coach for the team?
The coach was Pat Bradley,
Well, that there's
the
no
shooter,
problem there.
the shooter.
No problem there then.
No, the guy that I was talking about who managed and brought everything together is Keith Kelly. He just graduated from UCA. He's a really smart kid.
Right.
And like I said, he put all that together, that quick. So
Right.
like I said, he's got a bright future ahead of him, and I'm glad to have him part of my team on Hog Nation on Facebook. So
Absolutely. We appreciate anybody that's willing to help us. We'll help y'all out any way we can.
Oh, for sure.
But want to dive into a little football?
Sure, yeah. That's the gravy topic there.
Right. Why don't you get everybody in a little heads up on media days and all that?
Well, media days. Well, I mean, they're just basically media days.
Yeah,
They're just kind of a fashion show, if you want to be honest about it.
it is.
I thought Chad did great. He represents the state of Arkansas very well. He He doesn't embarrass us. He doesn't say anything he's not supposed to say.
Right.
I thought it was kind of ridiculous though how SEC Media Days ranked the head coaches based on their performances, and they ranked him dead last out of all of the coaches at the SEC Media Days.
And I was just about to say that.
I didn't quite understand that. I mean,
I don't get it.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
The three guys he brought with him, I've met Froholt before. He's a really good guy. And then Santos, he's just a monster on the field. And
yeah, the other one was Dre, wasn't it? Wasn't it Dre Greenlaw?
Dre Greenlaw, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Dre's gonna have a good season.
Yes, he is.
I think one player that we have that is not getting talked about enough, which I think he was about third in the SEC last year in tackles, was Scooter Harris.
Oh, absolutely. He's easily the most underrated player on our entire team.
And he's using a lot of that for motivation. Our defense is going to be a lot better than a lot of people think.
I agree.
Bringing Chavis in, A&M can say what they want to about getting rid of him and this and that, but I mean, from the style Bielema had, he had our players, pretty beefed up.
Right.
And Morse is bringing in speed, so it's going to be interesting to see how our players kind of transform from power to speed and what kind of product they put out on the field. Plus, they're going back to the 4-3, which they're more comfortable in.
Right.
And the defensive line, I don't even want to get started with that because, I mean, that's going to be a nasty front seven.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was talking to Ian last week, and or even maybe the week before, and I was telling him, there was only really 3 key areas that I was looking at as far as this season goes, and that's going to be our quarterback situation, our defensive line situation, and originally I said our second safety, but then somebody reminded me, I can't remember who it was on Twitter, somebody reminded me that Cam Curl moved over to safety, so I was like, well, never mind, there goes that one, because I think that kid's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You got Curl, you got Richardson, you got you got Santos back there. You got Pulley.
Yeah, that's going to be big for us. If he can stay healthy this year, that's going to be really, really big for that secondary.
I can't remember. It's been a long time since we've had a secondary that good. Probably Ken Hamlin days.
I would say so.
Almon Carroll,
Batman days. Yep. I agree. Well, I haven't seen a legitimate Arkansas defense like that since at least early 2000. Right. At least. And that maybe not even then.
Right. And then we get into the running back situation, and we had to cut, I think, was it Malik Barkley?
I think he had actually, yeah, he did. He moved.
He transferred out.
He transferred out.
He had gotten huge, and, he was going to be a big back, but anyway, he transferred out. But we got Devwah Whaley.
Yep.
We got Chase Hayden.
Yep.
We got
Malik Williams, who hadn't even seen the field yet.
Yeah, we got T.J. Hammond.
Yeah.
Rakeem Boyd, who I just watched that documentary, Last Chance U. And he was just killing the competition. Like, once he got the outside, he was gone. So it's going to be interesting to see how. And the coaches, or Coach Morris has done said, once Rakeem Boyd hits campus, he's going to get the ball.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see, how all this plays out.
I really hope they can find a way for Malik Williams to get on the field, though. Because,
I do too.
Because he was actually a really whenever we picked him up a couple of years ago.
Out of Florida, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Somewhere down in South Florida, I believe. When we picked him up a couple of years ago, I said he's going to be one of the most underrated people of the entire class because that kid can roll whenever he has the ball.
Yeah.
Like, I'm absolutely 100% not worried about the running backs there. That's one thing I'm not worried about at all.
No, definitely not. and he's got the power behind it too. I mean, you can watch some of the highlights, and he's in a lot of the highlights because of him running over people. Um,
I would really, honestly, personally, as far as TJ Hammonds goes, I'd really rather just have him playing slot receiver than anything because at his size, as being a smaller guy like that, I think he would be better suited to kind of be that, um, what's his name, Turpin. Be like that kid Turpin from TCU,
mm-hmm.
where he can play a little running back, but there's no need to actually label him a running back. Just make him be that guy that's all over the field in the slot and in the running back spot from time to time.
Right.
Because I think if you give him a chance to get open field, there ain't a soul in the SEC that can stop him in the open field.
Right. Yeah, he had I think he had about half the carries. I could be wrong. I think he had about half the carries that Hayden did last year.
Yeah.
And put up about the same amount of yards that he did with half the carries. I think he had 30-something carries, and Hayden had 60-something, but...
Those three are going to be, or between Hayden Whaley and Raheem Boyd, those three are going to be scary this year.
If it's our offensive line that our main concern is, and I mean, Froholt, he transitioned from a defensive lineman, and now they're projecting him to be like a number one draft pick, or one of the top draft picks as far as linemen go. So I mean,
time will tell. I really think the style that we played in that system that Bielema ran, I don't think that did him any favors, especially transferring to a different side of the ball at a new position. That's just all around bad. You can't expect a guy that has played defense primarily for the majority of his football playing career to be able to compete at the very next year at a new position, especially not in the best conference in America. That's just not going to happen.
And also, when you try to out Alabama by power, and
LSU and Auburn.
That's the majority of the teams you play. When we had our success, we had Bobby Petrino.
All right.
We didn't have just outstanding linemen, but we had linemen that, did the job. I think Ray Dominguez, and that's just
Travis Swanson.
They gave Mallet time to do what he needed to do, get the ball out, and open some holes for some running backs occasionally. And that's the type of offense that I see Morris running. He likes to keep that running back. He says he's going to run a 2 running back offense, but
I like that.
Yeah. Doing the swing outs to the running back, have the lineman pull out. I love that.
Yeah.
The kid he's going after out of Alabama, Spivey.
Thought he was out of Louisiana.
No, he's out of Alabama.
Oh,
he's got LSU's one of his top, and Arkansas is one of his top. I think Missouri, Purdue, but it's mainly Arkansas and LSU. His quarterback's actually committed to LSU. His high school quarterback, but I think Arkansas is going to end up getting him. But I think he fits Morris's offense perfectly.
He's going to kind of be what TJ Hammonds is, huh?
Yeah, but I think he's a lot more slimmer, and I think he's a north and south guy. Once he gets the football, he knows to look for those linemen, and he just hits that hole and he's gone.
Right.
So,
the biggest thing for me as far as Chad goes in recruiting, I'm just really, really glad that he's back in the state of Texas for us, because that's a major, major thing that we've been lacking the last 3-4 years. Because after that comment that Bielema made before we played Texas Tech, he pissed off a lot of people down in Texas. That spread offense is exactly what a ton of those teams down there play, and he basically spit right in their face. People don't like that.
No. And if it wasn't for Coach Smith, or our wide receivers coach, not Coach Smith now.
Yeah.
But from
Michael Smith.
Yeah, Coach Michael Smith. If it wasn't for him down in Louisiana, we wouldn't have got a lot of Louisiana kids that we got either.
That's true. And didn't he? Where did he go? Like Kentucky, right?
Yeah, he went to Kentucky. Yeah,
Yeah.
wide receivers coach. Yeah, that was a big loss. I love our coaching staff we got now. Coach Step is awesome.
You
He
gotten a chance to talk to him other than I saw you had a little interaction with
Yeah,
him
I
on
had a
Twitter
little
the other day.
interaction with him on Twitter. I wasn't trying to be rude or anything. I was just, I was like,
Just kind of hyping him
where's
up.
Arkansas at, man? Come on, the media, y'all are disrespecting us. And
It's
he,
Arkansas though. We it's like I've said. It's like we're not gonna get respect until we give, or we're not gonna be given respect until we get respect. I
no, for
mean, it's
sure.
just what it is.
I was just saying that to give coach a little motivation there, and he took the bait, and he said we'll be there here shortly. So,
Oh yeah.
and I can't wait to see it. Uh,
You said you had a little inside info about some stuff that you wanted to get to for some people. Let the good people be blessed with what you know.
well, I know this. I'll say a couple things before I get to it. During the Bielema days, Bielema he didn't he didn't run the show. I'll say that.
Hmm.
One of his assistant coaches ran the show, and it may have been why he got ran off. I don't know why. I mean, he was a good guy, obviously, but
Right. Good guys don't mean good
right.
teams.
One of his assistant coaches had a bad ego problem and would throw absolute tantrums. And I've heard this from players personally because, like I said, I know people that was inside the program. Dan Enos ran that program.
I wouldn't be. I mean, that doesn't surprise me as much as you would think.
And it's a sad situation because like I said, I was good friends with a couple of players, and they had to go through all that. And I mean, there's even one player I talked to. He said that it was so bad that if he would have got offered, from any other school, some crap school, he would have took that opportunity just to leave Arkansas at the particular time.
Wow.
And when we weren't doing so good, I think we had just fired our defense coordinator. And this is when Charlie Strong was at Texas, and I think they just let him go. I've always known Charlie Strong to be a good defense coordinator. Maybe not a head coach, but a good defense coordinator.
Right.
And he has Arkansas roots. He's from Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I did, when Bielema went on his blocking rant and blocked pretty much everybody in Arkansas, he blocked me when all I suggested was, go get Charlie Strong. He's he's an Arkansas native. He would probably help us out in some defensive spots, and I got blocked by him, and I was just like, okay, it's kind of weird. And then about 10:30, 11 o'clock that night, Jim Bielema sent me a direct message to my Twitter account, and I was just like, why is she sending me a message, And it's not like I sent her one. She sent me one out of, like I said, about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And she's
really random.
Yeah, really random. And she was just like, what is y'all's problem? And I was like, lady, what are you talking about? I don't have a problem. I said, all I suggested was to go hire a coach that has, some background, some Arkansas ties.
Right.
And she went on this whole spiel. I don't even remember what the whole spiel was. But anyways, she got down to the point to where she said Bielema had about 5 or 6 people that ran his Twitter accounts.
Jesus.
And that I probably got blocked by
One of
them. And she would look into it to try to get me unblocked, which never happened. which I don't care. But that was just the whole situation. It was just a whole drama filled situation that, I mean, just crazy.
That whole situation with the Bielema thing and all, I mean, even in generality, it was just a bad all around fit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had a feeling going in whenever he was hired, knowing how his style of football was,
Mm-hmm.
that he was all smash mouth all the time. You just ain't going to be able to do that because that's what Bama, that's what Auburn, that's what LSU, and to an extent, that's kind of what South Carolina does
Mm-hmm.
and Florida. Like, you're not going to beat these SEC teams doing that. You have to be able to change it up. And then when you go out and on a wild tangent and spit in the face of people with spread offenses and scrambling around quarterbacks, well, there goes your in and out for that too. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did a lot of damage to himself, in my opinion. He did a lot of self-inflicted damage, and like you said, there is probably a lot of infighting and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of stuff internal that nobody really knows a whole lot about. But I didn't think. I just think that that's why you don't hire a former head coach to be an assistant because they're going to try to have more power than they should have within a program as an assistant. I mean, if I'm saying like if you like the situation was where he was, what was it, Central Michigan, something like that,
Mm-hmm. Central Michigan.
where if you hire somebody that just came off of being a head coach, of course they're going to want to have power and have a say so in what happens on everything. I mean, it's just natural. But I mean, there's no problem with hiring like guys who've been former coaches that just couldn't get it done as a head coach. But that whole situation, that it was just a whole messed up situation, and I think we're going to be better off suited with the style that Chad Morris has.
Oh, for sure. It's like I mean, like I said, we were more successful running that type of offense. It was more exciting football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know back when we played Alabama in 2010, I was watching on TV. I wasn't at the game, but I mean
Right.
that was probably the craziest game that I've actually
Was
seen
that
on
the
TV.
15-14 game?
No, I was at that game. That was a cold game. I think that was 2014. 2010 is when we were ranked number
Yeah, that
10,
2010 or
and
11 was
we
the
were
year
ranked
that we
number
were
10,
high up.
and they were ranked number 1. It was the first matchup in Fayetteville of a number 1, number 10 team.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, that game. I know we came out and scored within like 2 or 3. I think it was 2 plays. We scored in 2 plays. Mallet to Wingo
Yeah.
on a wheel route.
Some say that that's the loudest they've ever heard Razorback Stadium.
Yeah. Uh, I've been on a couple VIP trips with Petway.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I took him up to a game, and this is when KJ Hill was there and Will Gregg and all them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the VIP, it was just awesome. They fed you good. You got to sit in the student section. You went down on the field during the game. This is when we was playing. We played Ole Miss that year, and we beat them. We beat the snot out of them. It was when they had Bo Wallace, which was the
He
man,
wasn't that good, let's be honest.
the man. But they were ranked. They were ranked pretty good, and we beat them 40-something to nothing or 50-something to nothing. I don't know. It was when Rohan Gaines had that 100-yard interception return.
That was awesome.
That's the loudest I've heard it
Wasn't
personally.
that like in the middle of what, a 2 or 3 game shutout streak or something like that? There was some kind of something like storyline going along with that because I remember I think it was a shutout streak because like a consecutive. I want to say it was like a consecutive quarter shutout streak or something like that.
Oh,
Because I remember getting really, really hyped up whenever he had that interception. Because I remember it's like, oh, we stopped it. We stopped it. I believe that's what it was. I believe that's what it was. Somebody, if anybody's out there listening and they can remember what it was that he did to continue a streak of some sort, just let us know on the show, RSG. underscore the Hog Show. Um, What is your prediction for the season record wise? Because me and Ian have said we think it's going to be anywhere between 5 to 7.
I have to look at the schedule. Let me look at the schedule real quick. And while I'm looking at it, I'll talk about Petway for a minute just because, man, Petway, he would go to football practice and he would go in there. He would have his practice. He would go in there and lift weights. And then he would go to the personal gym that I went to. He would be in there by himself and he would be killing those weights by himself. I mean, the kid, he just hasn't had the right coach. And I think Coach Stepp, is going to be exactly what he needs. All right, here's the schedule. I got us beating Eastern Illinois. Colorado State's going to be tough. We're going to be playing them at Colorado State.
That's going to be an interesting game.
I'm going to give us that win. North Texas is a win, so that's...
Don't get it twisted. North Texas ain't gonna be no pushover.
No. I'm not saying that.
No. I'm just telling for the people out there that are listening. North Texas is no pushover, especially in the state that we're in right now.
Right, they're no pushover. Colorado State's no pushover. We all know about Auburn. A&M. That's always an interesting game.
Always.
Regardless, how either one of us is doing.
I'm hoping their native son, Chad Morris, is going to be their kryptonite and kind of break them down a little bit better than what Bielema did.
I hope so because I'm really not a big Jimbo Fisher fan.
Great.
Alabama's Alabama.
Yeah.
Got a good streak against Ole Miss. And I think the streak lives this year.
I think so. I think that coach that they got is a joke.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Matt Luke, I think's his name.
Yeah.
Tulsa, I think Tulsa's down this year. Vanderbilt, that's going to be a tough game.
Think so?
Yeah, Vanderbilt, they got...
Are we there or here for that one?
We get them here, so I think we're going to win that one.
Okay.
But that's going to be a tough game. I mean, they always got a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
LSU at Arkansas, that's a potential upset. And LSU, from what I've heard from people outside of the program, LSU's not looking too hot right now. And Coach Orgeron talked a lot of crap about his assistants at SEC Media Days.
That always flies really well with players.
Yeah, for sure. So LSU could be an interesting game. This could be Coach O's last year.
Here's my hot take for this show. I got LSU dead last in the conference.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yes, people, I said the conference. I didn't say the West. The conference, period.
Yeah.
Yes, better or worse than Kentucky. Yes, worse than Vanderbilt. They are a travesty right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't have no leadership.
No, and they have no quarterback like it has been for God knows how long.
Since I can remember.
Right.
I mean,
and they just lost both of their, and they just lost Geis. I mean, they have no offense.
Mm-hmm.
All that they are gonna literally, if they win any games, they're gonna have to rely on their defense.
Mm-hmm. Mississippi State, they're gonna be really good. I mean, it's gonna be at Starkville, so
Klanga.
That'll be a tough game.
I think that's an L.
Yeah, that's a big L there. Missouri, it's gonna be at Missouri. Could possibly be a win there. So I'm gonna say
drum roll. But while you're adding that up,
I'm gonna say a potential 9-win season.
Whew. And now that's going out on a limb.
I'm not saying that to be biased. I'm saying that as from what I'm looking at, a 9-win season. I'm not putting no pressure on Chad Morris.
Right.
If we win 2 conference games, that's better than where we was at last year.
Oh, for sure.
But I'm gonna go out and say 9 wins this year.
Hey, that if that happens, the only thing I worry about with that kind of situation, if he overdoes it in the first year, like he goes past what everybody exceeds, he kind of gets to what the same rep as what Sumlin did at A&M. But but here's the thing for me. With us not having the pedigree, so to say, and the reputation that A&M thinks of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think that he would be in the same kind of hot water as what Sumlin did, no matter if he kind of tapered off a game or two or something along the way. I mean, I think that as far as an Arkansas program, for the most part, we realize what we are,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a team that's going to be anywhere on a normal basis, anywhere from 6 to 9 wins a year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, we're going to have times where we occasionally blow past that, but I mean, for the most part, we're a 6 to 9 win a year team, and people, I think honestly, for the most part, the fan base gets it.
I'm glad our fan base gets it to where they're expecting 5 to 6 wins his first year. You know what I'm saying? Because I get tired of people putting these. I don't even know how to these putting these ridiculous, um,
Expectations.
expectations on a first year head coach. That's what gets him driven out of town so fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we go through head coaches so fast. And I mean, you got to give these coaches time.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially when you're working with 3 stars and 4 stars, you're not Alabama. You're not getting all the 5 stars.
No.
You're getting 3 stars and 4 stars. You have to build those players up,
Oh, for sure.
and you can build them up to 5 stars and 4 stars, but you have to let that marinate. You have to let that soak in.
Mm-hmm.
You have to let that build into something.
All right.
Uh,
I agree on that completely. I mean, Arkansas just got to face a lot of the ones that don't get it have to face the fact that we're not Alabama, we're not Auburn, we're not LSU, we're not going to be at one of those teams that's able to pull fours and fives and all that year in and year out on like a mass on a mass entrance level. I mean, sure, there'll be years where we get a couple fours, or maybe every once in a while a year where we get a couple 5 stars.
yeah,
But
yeah. Let me interrupt you right there. Chad Morris did say this in the SEC media days. He said, uh, every couple of years you're gonna have 3 to 5, 4 or 5 star in-state talents in Arkansas.
absolutely,
He said you have to get those guys.
on a good year.
Yeah, on a good year. He said you have to get those guys. I mean, you can't let them get out of state. You have to get those guys, and then you have to work around to Tulsa and Memphis. He knows the footprint very well, and I don't think Bielema didn't know the footprint very well.
No,
He just picked here and there, and
he just picked whoever was big. That's
right.
basically what it was. He picked whoever the big kid was and whoever had the name. And then the 9 times out of 10, the one that had the name didn't want to be any part of his program. So that's one thing I really, really look forward to with him, because whenever he said coming in that he was going to build a fence around the state, I actually truly believe that. Now let it be known, there is one kid down here in South Arkansas that is very, very talked about this year, and Hog fans are going to get pissed whenever it doesn't happen.
Oh, I already know who you're talking about because I already know what's going to happen.
Because Stacy Wilkins, guys, he's not coming to Arkansas. He's giving y'all all the warning signs, if you read between the lines, that he's not going to be here. He's just trying to soften the blow for people so he doesn't turn out to be a villain or vilified like KJ Hill was. He's trying to avoid it so he doesn't get vilified like all the rest of these kids that don't come to Arkansas do. Now, let me say this as a counterpoint. I don't think that he will get that kind of hate as long as he doesn't play games with us. If as long as he doesn't play games with the fan base and make them feel like they actually stand a chance and get emotion tied into players, and he doesn't play that hat game that some recruits like to play where they just kidding, like that's the thing that's going to make Arkansas fans like me mad. Like I could, if he doesn't come, fine, so be it, so be it. It isn't a fit, I get it, but do not play with us. Like do not play games with us. Don't play us like that. Like
And I don't think he will. I think he used Arkansas to build himself up to where he could get better scholarships. I'm not saying that in a bad way toward him either. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It's a business.
right.
Um, but I think he respects Arkansas for that, and he got the offer he wanted out of Oklahoma, and that's where he's gonna go. I mean,
I'm guessing either Oklahoma or LSU is going to be my guess.
I don't think LSU's. I don't think they've been trying hard enough. I just don't have a good feeling about them.
Right, right.
I'm kind of concerned about our offensive line recruiting class, though. We got that huge kid out of Alabama, but
You got to think too.
we
We got
lost
some
the-
decent guys. We got some decent guys already on the roster that nobody's even heard of or seen play yet, too. Like the Dalton Wagners of the world.
yeah. I want to see Kirby Adcock play.
No slight bias, right?
Right, no bias, but he is the only kid that I watched in high school contain a game Sosa by himself without any double team.
Right.
And I watched Sosa's junior year. I watched Sosa's senior year, and Kirby that would have been his sophomore and junior years, and he handled Sosa by himself. And I've never seen nobody else because I watched Sosa in several different games because Sosa's head coach was my head coach.
Right.
And Kirby's the only one that I've seen that could hold him one on one. So
I really want to see I want to see the guys that we haven't seen yet. Like I said, the Dalton Wagners, the Kirby Adcocks, like these offensive linemen that really haven't had a chance to even see the field, and the ones that we actually recruited to be there, like Jalen Merrick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's guys like that. We know what the guys like Colton Jackson are. We know what the Froholts are. We know what the kid the big guard that came up out of nowhere like a year or so ago. Oh,
I think Brian Wallace is going to have a good year.
there you go. There's another one.
I think he's lost a lot of unnecessary weight. I think a lot of our linemen have lost a lot of unnecessary weight.
Pretty much most of our team has lost a lot of unnecessary weight for transitioning to what the new program is going to be.
Yeah.
It's a leaner, faster, stronger team.
Because Brian Wallace, he even stated that he's about 20, I think he said 20, 25 pounds lighter than what he was.
And that's a big difference.
And he said he played better at that in high school than what he was playing at Arkansas.
Keep in mind, people, that Brian Wallace was an Under Armour All-American.
5-star. Chose us over Alabama.
Absolutely. So the talent is there. The potential to be a very good player on that offensive line is there. We just got to be able to bring it out of him. And okay, let me ask. Who do you feel like, out of all of our assistant coaches, is the guy that's got the most to worry about getting replaced in year one, if anybody?
Oh, man.
Because I'm just going based off what Chad said coming in, that if I feel like the job isn't getting done, then I'll make a change.
I feel like they're all such a family, man. It's just, I don't think Coach Stepp's going anywhere. I don't think Coach Mark Smith's not going anywhere.
Who do we get as our offensive line coach now? I cannot remember. That Fry guy, right? Dustin Fry?
Dustin Fry. He played offensive line at Clemson. He would be the one, if I had to guess, that we would get rid of. We're not going to get rid of Chief.
Right.
Maybe Ron Cooper.
Maybe.
I mean,
Now, don't get me
that's
wrong.
a tough question.
This isn't me hoping for the worst out of anybody. I hope all of our coaches do a great job. I hope all of our players do a great job. But you got to look in the face of reality sometimes, and the fact that things aren't always the way that you hope they will be.
No, for sure.
But we're already running 39, almost 40 minutes with no break. So we'll be right back with y'all, and we will see you in just a minute.
Hey, who likes to go to concerts? Who likes to go to games? I know I do, and now you can buy event tickets on 12ouncesportsradio.com. Just go to the menu page and look for the event tickets tab and sign up today. And you can search by your zip code or we use your geolocation. You get $20 off your first purchase. Only on 12ouncesportsradio.com. Hey guys, it's Ian here from Rehab Sports Guys. You can now book tee times on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. Just go to 12ouncesportsradio.com and scroll to the bottom of any page, and there you'll see a banner that says Book Like a Pro. Click the banner, enter your course, or enter a zip code. Then select a tee time of your choice. You'll get 50% off each time you book through 12 Ounce Sports Radio. So book your next round at 12ouncesportsradio.com. 12ozsportsradio.com.
And we are back on the Hog Show with your guest, Will and David. So let's get on to a little bit of recruiting and a little bit of other stuff to finish up this show, little buddy.
All right, before we get into recruiting, we're going to talk about this Brandon Martin issue. He's no longer with the football team due to academic reasons, from what I understood from Chad Morris from SEC Media Days. And it doesn't seem like he's going to be returning to the team. Also talked to Mike Woods the other day. Mike's fine. Don't know what the deal's going to be with that, but I'm sure Coach Morris will handle that in house, and shouldn't be nothing more to that. We added that receiver out of Kansas. I don't remember his name, but
I'm looking it up right now as we speak.
And then we added Jimmy Stoudemire, who was a big time recruit, I think, that went to Auburn.
He did.
So
he was a former 4 or 5 star receiver, if I remember right.
Yeah, adding him and then adding this kid from Kansas. I mean.
And then, as we said, we already got Rakeem Boyd, who has experience from A&M.
Right. So, I mean, we got Dre Greenlaw up for the Buckus Award watch list. We got 2 running backs up for the Doak Walker Award
which that's list. A lot to say as a whole, too. That not 1, but 2 running backs up for the Doak.
Yeah, and that's coming out of Chad Morris offense.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that just tells you what kind of players we actually have on this team. When Chad Morris said there wasn't a reason that we should have went 4-8 last year, I think everybody can see why we shouldn't have went 4-8. Our players have even expressed that themselves,
Absolutely.
Let's get into some recruiting now.
Go for it.
Well, I'm going to let you look it up about the Kansas player real quick.
I'm still trying to figure out who it is. Chase Harrell.
Chase Harrell.
Chase Harrell.
I know he got into a little bit of trouble at Kansas.
No, I don't think it was that he got in trouble. I think that it was that he had a family emergency type situation.
His brother got shot at a party, and I think he got arrested for a DUI, DWI. He got arrested for something. Either way, it is what it is. He's left Kansas, and he's now with the Razorbacks, and that's all that matters.
Right.
Let's see.
And for those that say, it was just Kansas, who cares? You can't put a number on how important depth is, especially in the SEC. And the fact that we have several guys that are 6'2" and above at receiver, that's going to have big physical receivers like that is going to play a very, very big role for us this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right, I'm gonna get into some of the recruiting, just some of the sizes, some of the guys we got.
Go for it.
We got Shamar Nash. He's a 4-star wide receiver, 6 foot, 194 pounds. We got Zach Williams out of Little Rock, 4-star, 6'4", 225. You know, his dad also played at Arkansas, so that's a big commit right there. KJ Jefferson, dual threat quarterback, 6'3", 211 pounds. Just gained a 4-star, I think last night or the night before.
It's a couple of days ago. Yeah.
Yeah. TQ Jackson, 3-star wide receiver out of Texas, 6'2", 188 pounds. I think he is very underrated.
Absolutely.
He catches the ball with his hands. He doesn't catch it with his body, which, you know, that's
a big thing for kids at
huge.
that age, to be able to be that developed and know how to play the game the right way.
Right. Matai, sorry if I said that wrong. Solly, defensive end out of Douglasville, Georgia. He's 6'4", 225 pounds. His dad was a All-State, I think.
He's a legacy player.
Yeah,
just like Zach Williams.
Yep.
He's a legacy player.
Yep, another legacy player. So that's another huge pickup. Carl Williams, defensive tackle out of Lufkin, Texas, 6'4", 310 pounds. That dude is going to clog up a bunch of holes. And I loved how he committed to Arkansas, because he said he had a dream
that he was playing Alabama.
He was playing for Arkansas, and it was against Alabama. And then decided that was a sign and committed to Arkansas the next day. I mean,
that's just really awesome.
That you can't get no better than that, especially as an Arkansas fan. That's what you want. You want a kid that wants to play against Alabama and beat them.
Not just join up with them.
Right.
A super team, so to say.
Malik Chavis, I think he was our first commit in this class. He's an athlete, 6'2", 175 pounds. I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about Malik.
I think he's going to be one of those kids that's bouncing around, whether they want him at corner or receiver.
Yeah. Bo Leamer out of Tyler, Texas. He's an offensive tackle, 6'5", 270 pounds. It's a pretty good sized kid, you know.
He'll add weight.
Yeah. He's not too big either. And, you know, Chad, he don't want no big, slow, you know,
slob,
can't move around lineman. Now this other one,
this is the big one.
Yeah, this is a big boy right here. I would not want to step in his way. Joseph Stone out of Trussville, Alabama, which I think he just transferred to another school, another high school. He's an offensive guard, 6'8", 354 pounds.
That's a big old boy.
I don't know how Chad plans on using him. He's got to be on the field somewhere. I don't know if he's going to put him. If it was me and I wanted fast offensive lineman, I'd put Joseph Stone and I'd put Carl Williams both on the defensive line against Alabama, and they would not run anything up the middle against me.
That's an interesting strategy, especially for a kid that's recruited to play offensive line. But we've seen changes happen.
You do what you got to do. I mean, Sebastian Tretola played quarterback.
Or hell, if you wanted to, just put him in the middle on special teams and be like what Dan Skipper used to do, just sit there and block kicks all the time.
Exactly. I mean, I can't tell you how huge it was to have Skipper, you know, in that position blocking kicks.
Absolutely. Special teams really is that if you have a good one. It's special. Because that plays a very underrated role in winning and losing a lot of games. As we have seen from our own special teams and how drastically bad they have been with the fact that we can't kick field goals, we can't get extra points, we can't block. Like, That has to end. That has to stop. But, for everybody that's freaking out about, oh, we don't have that many recruits yet, yada, yada, yada. People, relax. The season hasn't even started.
It's about to pick up.
Once the season starts, and once we have this Razorback cookout that we're about to do, I believe we're about to get a haul for that Razorback cookout that we get. I think we're probably looking at somewhere between 5 to 7 recruits out of that.
I've heard we're going to have several just out of that cookout. And a lot of these kids want to commit before the season just so they have a spot. You know what I'm saying?
That, and so they don't have to worry about the stress of recruiting during the year.
Exactly. Another player that I'm excited to see, and I hope he commits soon. Warren receiver.
Oh, Traylon Burks.
Traylon Burks.
As an Arkadelphia Badger, as somebody that's from Arkadelphia, I watched that kid in the state championship game last year. Oh my God, that kid is a freak.
We have to get that kid, and I think we will.
I think his recruiting process has been really, really slow for knowing what he is. I think there's a lot of teams that know, but there's a lot more that don't know.
Yeah.
If that makes any kind of sense.
No, for sure.
I think being as he's in Arkansas and in a small town in Arkansas at that, I don't think that does him any help. But once the season starts, I fully expect that he's going to get offered by Arkansas. I mean, I give it probably by the 5th or 6th game, I say we probably offer him.
I think he's already offered, ain't he?
I'm not sure if Chad offered him yet. Bielema probably did, but I don't know that Chad has. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know everything there is to know about recruiting, believe it or not, people. I'm not a guru here. I just do this to kill some time.
But I know that Traylon is a real country boy. He loves fishing, hunting. He loves keeping to himself. He doesn't like all the spotlight. I know him and Danny just had an interview here not too long ago about his recruiting process and how it's going. He was wanting to visit a couple schools, but I know him and one of his teammates want to go to the same school. It's a defensive lineman. I can't think of his name right now. But I think they both have offers from Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken.
What running backs are we recruiting? Do you remember? I know you said that Spivey kid, but I think he's going to be that guy that's an athlete. Recruit.
I've heard we're only going after one running back this class.
Right. I mean, there's no need, really. I mean, we have guys up there already.
The one that surprised me was Caden Roach out of Magnolia.
Mm-hmm.
The kid looks like an Alabama running back written all over. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. But he kind of reminds me of the kid that went to Missouri a couple years ago that we didn't offer. Crockett.
Yeah.
I thought we missed out on him.
We missed out on a lot here recently, just being real. We missed out on Crockett. We missed out on Taylor Powell, who was in Fayetteville, that's the one that aggravates me more than anything. I think that almost aggravates me more than not getting KJ Hill to keep his commit here.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact that Taylor Powell was a Gatorade All-American playing in Fayetteville down the hill from the University of Arkansas and can't ever get a scholarship offer from Bielema. That's just a bit ridiculous to me.
And then Trey Norwood going to Oklahoma Sooners. You see what he did as a freshman.
Yep.
Bielema just, I don't know.
He just didn't understand. He just didn't understand the landscape. I mean,
do you think we get Trey Knox?
I'm 50-50. I think it's going to be between us or Tennessee.
I think we get him.
I hope. It would be good to get. It'd be nice to get another big, tall, physical wide receiver to go along with the rest of the ones we got.
Yeah, I honestly think we get him.
Wasn't there one other receiver though that we were after? It wasn't Knox. It was somebody else.
To my D-man? D-man?
Yeah. That
He's good. I don't think we're going to get
that
him,
kid's
though.
like 6'6"?
He's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But we're running up against the clock today, guys. It's been a good show. Just be sure if you have anything you want to talk about with us during the week to just get at us on Twitter. It's at RSG underscore the Hog Show. You can get at me at RSG underscore villain. You can get at Will at RSG underscore Will. And we will see you next week, guys.
All right, see you.
And understand the landscape. I mean,
Do you think we get Trey Knox?
I'm 50-50. I think it's going to be between us or Tennessee.
I think we get him.
I hope. It would be good to get. It'd be nice to get another big time, big, tall, physical wide receiver to go along with the rest of the ones we got.
Yeah, I honestly think we get him.
Wasn't there one other receiver though that we were after? It wasn't Knox. It was somebody else.
To my D-man? D-man?
Yeah. That
He's good. I don't think we're going to get him,
that kid's
though.
like 6'6"?
He's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But we're running up against the clock today, guys. It's been a good show. Just be sure if you have anything you want to talk about with us during the week to just get at us on Twitter. It's at RSG underscore the Hog Show. You can get at me at RSG underscore villain. You can get at Will at RSG underscore Will. And we will see you next week, guys.
All right, see you.